Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, the climate guy setting the record straight about climate. This video is about some unusually bold climate fraud from the United Nations, which is also being pushed by Stanford University and MIT, which were formerly respectable institutions. A search for global warming on Google News today turns up some rather impressive junk science. One of the items is a video of a starving polar bear in Baffin Bay, and they claim it has something to do with sea ice extent. I flew over Baffin Bay on Saturday, where sea ice extent is slightly above normal. Whatever made this polar bear too weak to hunt has nothing to do with global warming or sea ice. But the story that this video is about is the top one. Global warming may harm children for life. Global warming will mean many more days with a mean temperature above 32 degrees Celsius. Specifically, an increase from 1 per year in the average U.S. county today to around 43 annually by around 2070, according to an earlier UN report cited in the study. There's so many things wrong with this claim, it's difficult to know where to begin. First of all, 32 degrees Celsius is 90 degrees Fahrenheit. A day with a mean temperature above 90 degrees Fahrenheit is extremely hot. An example of this would be daytime temperatures above 100 degrees Fahrenheit and nighttime temperatures above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. There's very few places in the United States where this can even happen in our current climate. States where days can occur with mean temperatures above 90 degrees Fahrenheit would include Oklahoma, Texas, Arizona, and California. Very few other states that's even a possibility. So there's no such thing as an average U.S. county. The climate of different counties varies tremendously by geographical region. But even more ridiculous is this claim that these incredibly hot days with mean temperatures above 90 degrees Fahrenheit will increase from 1 per year now to 43 per year around 2070. Let's have a look at that and see if it makes any sense. This is a graph of the actual frequency of these incredible hot days in the United States over the last century. Note that the trend for the percent of days with a mean temperature above 32 degrees Celsius has declined since 1917, and that the only 2 years where they were really widespread were in 1934 and 1936. Other hot summers included 1930, 1954, 1980, and the Oklahoma-Texas heat wave of 2011. But outside of the desert Southwest, days with a mean temperature above 90 degrees Fahrenheit rarely happen anymore. Now let's put this in the context of the UN forecast for 2070. The graph inset on the lower left is what we were just looking at, and the pink line shows what the UN is forecasting for the year 2070. In order for the UN forecast to come true, we would have to go from a declining trend in these hot days to an incredibly fast increasing trend. This makes no sense mathematically or scientifically, and one has to wonder how such utter nonsense could make it through climate science peer review at MIT and Stanford University. And wouldn't actual scientists want to know what caused these incredibly hot years in 1934 and 1936? That was the Dust Bowl when millions of people fled the Oklahoma region for California because it was too hot and dry for them to live there anymore. In his novel, The Grapes of Wrath, John Steinbeck wrote poignantly about the Dust Bowl. And the hot and dry weather of 1934 wasn't just in the U.S. This is the December 30th, 1934 edition of the Los Angeles Times. Whole world in freak weather year of 1934. Cold, heat, drought, and flood set new marks. Unprecedented extremes recorded in every corner of the earth. Even climate has changed. How science accounts for berserk elements. Change in climate, a freak year. Climate alarmists like to blame the Dust Bowl on farmers in the Oklahoma Panhandle, but an actual scientist would probably recognize the fact that a few farmers in Oklahoma can't actually control extreme weather around the entire planet. And how did NOAA deal with the unprecedented and extremely hot weather of the 1930s? Well, they simply erased it. The blue line shows their actual measured U.S. thermometer temperatures, and the red line shows what they released to the public. They massively cooled the past to create a fake warming trend, which doesn't actually exist. It's stunning to realize the level of fraud in climate science, but it's very real, it's happening, and it's happening right in front of us. And the only thing that can stop it is our awareness of what's going on. Visit Toto on the web at realclimatescience.com. He's been pulling back the curtain on junk science for a long time.